Okay, I'd like to make a motion to open.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there was a decision in executive session to add a resolution to the agenda terminating the agreement for legal services with the Township Solicitor. The resolution number will be 2025-R-165, Terry, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a motion to add this resolution to the agenda?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-R-165?
So made.
Second.
Roll call, Terry.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
No.
Mr. Zaradnik?
No.
Mayor Talarico?
Yes. Okay.
I guess I leave now, since I'm done? Yeah, thank you. Been a pleasure.
I'd like to ask Mr. Rapici, our labor attorney, to come up and finish out solicitor for the rest of the meeting. I don't believe I need a motion on that. Good? Okay. All right, we're going to move over to the open Board of Health meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. This month, there has been a total of 8 reports given. We had 2 sanitary conditions. One was for mold in a unit, which was abated, and then a dog park in a complex was not being cared for. Those both have been abated. There was 1 dog bite, owner got bit, and then there were 5 miscellaneous calls. One was for dated food, outdated food that was unfounded. One was another for water damage, that's been abated. The air conditioning unit was not working in the apartment, that's been abated. And then 2 retail food establishment applications, both of which have been approved by the Board of Health and then now come here to the municipality. That is the end of my report for Board of Health.
Okay. Public portion. Does anybody have anything on the Board of Health meeting? Seeing none, motion to close.
So made.
Second.
Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're going to move over to the ordinance introduction and first readings. Ordinance number 2025-10 is a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various capital improvements and the acquisition of various pieces of equipment in and for the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $2,045,000 therefore, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $1,725,050, making certain determinations and covenants, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. Motion for introduction.
So made.
Second.
Comments? Roll call.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Talarico?
Yes. Publication date, August 27, 2025. Public hearing, September 18, 2025. Ordinance number 2025-11, bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various utility capital improvements and the acquisition of various pieces of utility equipment in and for the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $2,170,000, therefore authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds or bond anticipation notes of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, New Jersey, in the aggregate principal amount of up to $2,066,500, making certain determinations and covenants, and authorizing certain related actions in connection with the foregoing. Motion for introduction.
So made.
Second.
Comments? Roll call.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Talarico?
Yes. Publication date, August 27, 2025. Public hearing, September 18, 2025. Ordinance number 2025-12 is an ordinance of the Township of Maple Shade, County, Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code, Chapter 205 zoning, Section 113 and 114, requirements for cannabis retailers. Motion for introduction.
So made.
Second.
Comments? Roll call. I'm sorry.
Does that have to go to planning, the planning board?
It will, after the,
Okay.
so it comes
I
from,
just want to put it on record that it needs to go, it can be introduced tonight, but that it needs to go to the planning board
Yes,
for
so under the-
recommendations to come back to us.
so under the land use law.
Yes.
Council makes the changes that they're recommending, it goes to planning for their basically review, and any recommendations that they have, it will come back to council for an adoption with any changes, or if there's any changes that are recommended at the next meeting, we'll enter them, and then those will be noted.
Will that come back before?
So in September, it will come back to council
So
with
zoning will have already seen it.
planning will see it.
Planning, I'm sorry.
And council will get their recommendations after their meeting next
Okay.
week. So, and if anything has to be changed that lines to be more substantive, then we'll make those adjustments.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zradnik?
yes,
Mayor Talarico?
Yes. Publication date, August 27, 2025. Public hearing, September 18, 2025. Ordinance number 2025-13 is an ordinance of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 205-75 and adding a new article to Chapter 63 Animals to establish a 2-year pilot backyard chicken program. Motion for introduction.
I'll make that motion.
I do have a comment on that.
We need a
Do I
second
have to wait
first.
for?
Yeah, wait for a second.
Chuck? No?
No.
Andrew, second? Anybody?
No.
No? Okay. No second? Motion dies. Okay. Alrighty. Ordinance number 2025-14 is an ordinance of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code to add Chapter 155 Housing Code. Motion for introduction?
So made.
Second.
Comments?
We are going to add notifying to that, right, Susan?
Yes.
Notification?
Yes, if that can be the comment that's made, yes, that we're going to have a in the procedures and policies of how the application goes, there will be a notification clause in there.
To the
neighbors,
neighbors.
to the neighboring properties, as you had asked.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. News?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
No.
Mr. Zradnik?
Yes,
Mayor Talarico?
Yes. Publication date, August 27, 2025. Public hearing, September 18, 2025. Ordinance number 2025-15 is an ordinance of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, accepting a sidewalk easement within Block 189-03, Lots 5 and 5.02. Motion for introduction.
So made.
Second.
Comments?
Yeah, where are we talking about, Susan?
This is the PSE&G on
Oh,
Route
on
73, the old
Route
Roy Rogers.
Okay. Where we're asking them to put a sidewalk in?
So it was a requirement of
DOT.
their approvals, so, and DOT said they have to have an easement to put the sidewalk in.
Any other comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
No.
Ms. News?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zradnik?
yes,
Mayor Talarico?
Yes. Publication date, August 27, 2025. Public hearing, September 18, 2025. Ordinance, second reading and public hearing. Ordinance number 2025-08 is an ordinance of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 194 of the Township Code entitled Vehicles and Traffic at Subchapter 194-21 to identify a new multi-way stop intersection. This is now open to the public. If anybody from the public would like to come up and comment on this ordinance, please do so. Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Claire Volpe, 824 Greenwood Avenue. I just have a question with regard to this. Does this mean that we're going to have a four-way stop on High Street and on Mill Road?
Yes.
So it's just going to be at Maple
Yes.
on High Street?
Yes. Fernwood did not pass for the four-way, only Maple. Right?
correct.
All right, because it's, I understand the reason behind this for the traffic. But in going on Second Street in Morristown, they're going up there, they have stops every street, which to me would seem to, if you're going to be doing the stop sign, to have it go whatever the cross streets are there.
So you
And
would
so-
be in favor of having a stop at Fernwood as well on High Street, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We
I
tried
agree
to do
with
that.
you.
It didn't pass the
It
study.
didn't pass this
It didn't pass this test.
We tried that.
Well, I think
What do
we
you mean
should
the test?
petition the
The
state
second-
and
yeah,
see
but-
about getting it put in there, because the residents want it, and I
Well,
know that the,
wait a minute, I'm just bringing up a thought here. What do you mean it didn't pass?
The
By
traffic-
engineering study?
the traffic study.
The traffic study?
Under the MUTC date, but it doesn't pass. It doesn't have enough accidents at that intersection. They have to look at what, I know.
Yeah.
I know, I agree with
Well,
you, but
the accidents are on 73, not so much
So
on High
that
Street.
intersection did not, that was the first
Depending
intersection
on the
that we
moment.
went through, and it had to do, again, with MUTCD laws and what was going to be distances and whatnot. So our township engineer had said that that would not pass, but that at High Street and North Maple, that would be an intersection that was, that was able to.
All right, so
have a
it
stop
would
sign.
slow them down as they come off of 73. But then they'll just pick up. But, I mean, if it's not.
the criteria doesn't meet what's needed for a stop sign to be put in Fernwood. However, you know the town, it's your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And fine,
Absolutely.
it might slow them up. I mean, cars are getting hit, the mirrors are getting ripped off, there might not be accidents that they're considering to be accidents. But at the end of the day, they just speed up and they'll make up the difference, from Maple to Fort Planning Road.
Right.
We
Or else
wanted
they'll
to.
avoid it because it'll be, I don't want to go down there and stop.
Well, I understand that the state has criteria and that they want to have it met, but my opinion is that we petition the state, have them come down here, explain to them what the problem is. We're going to have one four-way stop on there and have the other one installed, and see what their contention is of why we can't put it in there. I mean, it's our town, and, they're not dealing with the problems. And unfortunately, we can't have police sitting there all the time writing tickets for people speeding and going through the
And this is something
neighborhood.
that has been going on for a long time, so.
Yes.
I would just, if they say that it doesn't qualify for it, you would give it a try and see what happens. If you can prove that it's not working, then you have better ammunition to go up to the state and ask them to do that. But my other question is with regard to Mill Road. So that's going to be that's going to be,
4 as well.
because they're like, not,
It
they're
is
all
offset.
goofy.
Yes.
So,
And that qualified. But the other one didn't.
well, I just don't agree with the stopping on Mill Road. I mean, but whatever. We'll see how that happens too. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public on ordinance 2025-08? Okay, seeing none, motion to close?
So made.
If I may, Mayor, I'm sorry, if I may just, the comment was that, from Councilman Simonsek, was to petition the state. Is that something that the township wants, the council wants us to look further into?
I don't want to.
or-
I don't want to because it's been done in the past with other councils a few times over. And when I first got on, I've talked extensively with the police department, with the neighbors on the street, and including John. And we've done a lot to try to make this happen. I think at least we should have to give this a try before we move forward to, refute the study and spend another $30,000 on a study. And it's been done two or three times already.
Okay.
So that saves the money, taxpayers' money, and let's just see how we can work through this.
I'm not saying to do another study. We've already done the study. I'm saying to have the state come down here and explain it to them and say, it doesn't meet the criteria, but we want you to go out here and walk the neighborhood with them. Show them why we want to have the four-way put in there.
And I think it's more under the MUTCD. It's not so much the state telling us
Well,
that we can't.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's
And again,
their criteria, but.
I know, Mr. Zradnik, you had mentioned something about the speed bumps.
I would like to see speed humps there. I mean, I talked to you at length about, I don't understand why it doesn't meet the criteria. The guy on the corner of that, where it didn't meet the criteria, has lost 6 trucks. He has 6 trucks total on that corner. How can that not meet the criteria? So I would like to see speed humps put in between those 2 streets, like one up by my block halfway down and halfway down the other block. They are our streets. We can do whatever we want with our streets. We just can't put traffic signs up.
Which is counterproductive to a point. I mean, I think we owe it to the residents in that neighborhood. They've been dealing with it for a long time, as Sandy said. And I know Sandy's worried about the money, but things change all the time. I mean, this other stop signs are in there. My concern with the speed humps is if, we install them and something happens with somebody doing that we're going to be on the hook and liable for it. A stop sign is a stop sign. I think we have a little bit more control with the police and incidences on High Street if we have stop signs versus the speed humps. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think we need to keep trying. I think we need to have you reach out and see if they can come down here. Tell the people of the neighborhood why they're not getting a stop sign. And speaking of that, since we know the one stop sign is going in, I would appreciate it if you could send a letter out to the people that it's affecting there on High Street and let them know what's going on.
So we will have to do that under MUTCD anyway. There has to be notification. We'll have to give 2 weeks worth of, at least 2 weeks worth of notification. I've already spoken with the police department. There will be our electric sign will be up there. Our notification sign will be up. Obviously, we will send a notice out via Nixle, and we'll make sure that there's something in our newsletter as well that has those photos and stuff.
It's just my own opinion, and if the council says they don't want to see that, I would like to see the engineer look into that, Susan, the speed humps, and get a cost on that. And also to meet with the residents on that, because the speed bumps or speed humps do make a little bit of noise. I would like the residents to be aware of what they're going to be dealing with.
You may want to look into Morristown because they have them on Second Street.
I know exactly where they have them,
It's a
which is
pretty
why
big-
I think we should have them on High
It's a
Street.
pretty big hump. Actually, we've had this discussion quite a bit with Chief
Fletcher.
Chief Fletcher, and they were opposed for quite a number of reasons, but, you know, I think maybe get everybody to the table and let's talk about it again, but, you know.
From an emergency standpoint for the first responders, it becomes a problem with the speed humps. They have them in the apartment complexes, which we don't really have any control over, and they're very abusive to all our vehicles, police vehicles, EMS, the fire department trucks.
It's a liability also.
Well, it is, but we can't tell them, unfortunately, to take it out, you know. I mean, that's one of my reservations with the humps. I mean, it slows down the response.
So,
Well,
so
all's
why, if it's council's pleasure, I will get a hold of our township engineer, discuss with him that there's some discussions about speed humps again, and then the stop signs. How can we go, how can we meet the MUTCD requirements around it, and,
Can we include the chief?
oh yeah, the
Include
police department has been
police
involved in this, yeah.
department,
So
because,
we
I
will
mean,
make
they
sure
have
that
been
that's all
through the weekend.
involved, and then we'll get that answer, and then again, you know, if we need to do some community outreach to make sure that the people on High Street at least know. In the meantime, this ordinance will be for, if you adopt this ordinance, it will be for the one at North Maple.
Right.
So, and those are ready to go. The signs and everything have, well, they should be here tomorrow, so it's all, we'll have everything. So that's what council will be voting on.
Okay, so I think do we have a motion to close?
We need,
one?
yeah.
Okay. I thought somebody said that.
No, we had a motion to close. I
We just
think.
need a second,
Yeah.
right?
You didn't get a,
I
oh,
said-
we need a
I
second?
said second.
Okay, Sandy, it was Chuck and Sandy, right?
We good, Tara?
Yep.
All right, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to adopt?
So made.
So made. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Do we do a roll
Do we have a
call?
second?
Second. Sorry.
Comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Chadwick?
Yes. Ordinance number 2025-09 is an ordinance of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 178 subdivisions and site plans, Part 2, site plan review. We are now open to the public. Does anybody from the public like to come up? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close?
So made.
Second.
Comments?
Does this also have to go to the planning board?
No.
This one does not, no.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt?
So made.
Second.
Comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Chadwick?
Yes. This is now the public portion for the consent agenda items only. Members of the public wishing to speak, please come up on the consent agenda items only. Anybody? Okay, seeing none, motion to close?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, consent agenda, I'm going to do this in bulk. Resolution number 2025-R-144 through resolution number 2025-R-165.
Four.
No,
I'm
65.
not adding 65 in?
You got to add 65 in.
No,
No, 'cause we already
that
did
was
it.
outside the
Okay.
consent.
Okay, sorry,
Outside the
sorry.
So,
consent.
through 164. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So made.
Second.
Comments?
There was a lot of things that we didn't discuss in open, I feel, for a lot of these. So I'm just putting it on record, and also that because of that, I'll be voting no for the consent agenda,
For all items?
for all items.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
No.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Chadwick?
Yes. Approval of the expenditure list?
Thank you. Current fund bill list, $5,744,372.61. Our utility fund is $1,533,545.90. General capital is $298,739.71. Utility capital, $491,847.81. Our trust fund is $1,192,645.59, and our grant fund is $197,057.24. Do want to make note that, this is 5 weeks' worth of bills. The current fund, that's the 5 million, 5.7, we had all of our general obligation bonds that had to be done. Our third quarter taxes were paid, NJEIT loans, so that's what bulked up that, plus, our school taxes as well. So I have had the opportunity to review the above bill list as submitted and recommend payment when funds are available.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
Comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Talerico?
Yes. Approval of the July 2025 minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Comments? Roll call?
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Talerico?
Yes. Okay, this is the public portion. If anybody from the public would wish to speak, please come up and state your name and address for the record.
Gina Capate, 18 West Woodlawn Avenue. I just want to have a clarification, obviously. Oh, it's on. That's okay. For the planning board, I was late to that meeting for my Board of Education meeting, and I know I've had some people ask me about Councilman Simonsick's concern, which is a concern for the public, about the ladder truck not being able to fit through the Sun Bank, which is the new proposed property for the cannabis. Just wanted to see if there was any resolution or anything that has come up since, his concern, and it's a public safety concern. So I wanted to know, and I was being asked, being a planning board member, if there was any resolution to that, his concern, basically, of the ladder truck not being able to fit. I think it was the fourth lane.
The township engineer for the board was in contact and is going down that checklist that was produced by the planning board attorney. My concerns are, unfortunately, it never came to site plan. Something of that magnitude being the first one in our town, it seemed to me that it was just being pushed through just to push it through. And in that meeting, I went there and I didn't expect it. Wound up being a long meeting for the planning board, which could have, all those items could have been resolved at a site board meeting before they went to the planning board, where it would have been taken care of. So obviously they have to come back as long as they meet them requirements. But my concerns with the building is first and foremost the people that work in the building, the people that are going to be going there to the building, and the community of Maple Shade. I'm not going to be responsible for things that might happen on that site if we're not going to follow through with a public safety issue. Those concerns for the fire and for security too. There was never any issue of a fence being brought up. And that site is wide open to both sides. Ponderosa, the old Ponderosa that's shut down and used for storage. I mean, it's a cash business, and to me it's a problem. The things that I was proposing protect the township, it protects the people in there, it protects the owners as well when it's all said and done. But, those things need to be addressed.
The fence did come up during the meeting.
But it wasn't on the list for,
The planning board voted that one wasn't needed, I believe.
all right, well, and that's fine. But, but my statement in open right now is going to be, the place needs to have a fence around it for security purposes. The police are involved in the part of the process, but they're only involved in the inside of the building. And I learned something from it, that they need to be a part of the security on the outside, because the security people are only worried about the inside of the building, and they're trying to make it a drive-through. So for me, that becomes problematic. So, there's a lot of things that are left hanging open there, and right now, the engineer is working on those things with the people that need to answer those questions at this point in time.
So
So there
respectfully, sorry,
So
Mayor.
there wasn't enough security when there was a bank, but that there's enough security, I'm
Right.
confused.
Sorry, respectfully, I get it, I'm on the planning board, right? But my concern was his concern for the fire truck not being able to fit. Is that a concern? I
Yes,
don't
it
know anything
doesn't
about
fit.
fire, so this is my question to see if,
Well, it was already a bank, and it was all approved when the bank was there, so.
It was approved for a bank, and the
people are in the
problem
bank.
that people are seeing is the site plan is about the site. It's not about the business, it's not about if the usage is, allowed or not. It's about the site. It's about the ability for us to make our town a little bit better, have the site improved, and move forward with the township. And people are confusing that. They're tying it together, and it's not. It's a site issue. It's for the security of the site. It's to improve the site. It's to make sure that there's lighting on it, the sidewalks, the fencing, all the things that need to be done. It's the township's opportunity to be able to get the site improved before that business opens up so that the town is a little bit better, that it's safer. Because every day things change. And, whether it was a bank or not, the security, the bank wasn't giving out marijuana. They were giving out money.
Money with the site.
And it's a cash business that's going through with a drive-through. With no fencing,
But there
somebody
was a
can
drive-through
sit
before.
right in that parking lot and rob those people, take the marijuana. There's a lot of concerns that I have with it, and they're being publicly made at this point in time. And I hope the planning board does the right thing.
I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
it did not.
I thought
Right,
so.
it did not.
The fire truck does not fit, and the engineer's aware of it, so it's got to go back with the engineer to their engineers and the owners so that they can discuss what they're going to do, if they're going to remove a part of it, because that removal was originally in the original plans, and they changed it because they didn't want the cost to take it down. The trucks don't fit through that area. And whether they did or they didn't when it was a bank is irrelevant. I wasn't here when the bank was built, so, maybe it slipped through the cracks. I don't know. But we're here again doing it. It's a safety issue for the people in that building if there's a fire, period.
Didn't they agree to remove that lane? I thought they were
No, I
going to
think-
use that one outside lane.
If I may, I know that the fire marshal spoke with the owners today.
Yes.
And the owner did tell us that they will get back to us as to how they plan to proceed, and if they will proceed. That was the message that we got this afternoon,
Well-
late this afternoon, so,
I think John
The
had-
bank was built in 1998,
correct.
correct?
Correct,
And the drive-throughs were the same.
correct,
They have not changed.
correct.
I also sit on the planning board, and I believe the ladder truck was bought in 2018, 2020,
Right.
10,
18.
18. So it worked as a bank. I had no concern. I don't differentiate a cash business that's selling a product versus a bank that is handing out money. I mean, I don't want to rehash what's going on in planning, but I have no concerns about that issue, Gina, to tell you the truth.
That's all I wanted to know. Well, that's all people were asking, so I wanted to know, being it's on planning, I missed half the meeting, so I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? There's a bunch of you. You want to just get in line?
Mine's that last comment, so I just want to ask a quick question. Obviously, I was on the cannabis advisory.
Name and,
Steve
Name and
Schmidt,
address,
520 Sunset Avenue. Obviously, I was on the cannabis advisory board that approved that. I just don't understand why we need to take a ladder truck to a one-story building. I'm not a fireman, but do we take a ladder truck to every fire in town?
Ladder truck's the second truck out of that firehouse for every fire and structure and building call, period.
Perfect.
It is a necessary evil, and it is a major part of the operations. It is
Fantastic.
put in
Did not
front
know
of
that.
every building so that if the fire gets out of control, that they can use the master streams to fight the fire. So yes, It is a prevalent piece of equipment for this township and the safety of it and what it does on a daily
And the only
basis.
place that can be operated from is from the rear of the building?
If the fire is on the other side of the building, that's a
building's
collapse
small.
zone.
It's not big.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the building's small or not. The point is it's a fire, and every fire is different, every situation is different, and you have to look at it that way.
That's fine. So I guess the next comment I have would be, do the residents realize that the planning board, Ms. Stanton just made a comment that they're not sure if the current cannabis people will continue, that the residents realize that that's one cannabis of the three we're going to have. You lose that, you lose $250,000 a year in the township's pockets. So
Well,
just to make sure everyone's aware of that.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public? I believe you were next.
Hi, my name's Dr. Dan Keebler. I live at 33 West Park Avenue, and I just want to thank the council for passing 2025-14, because we really needed that. Yeah. And we're not the only community that's looking at this, because it's happening all over the state, and actually all over the country, where we have people that are renting their properties, and it's causing real problems, public safety issues, businesses in residential areas, and us as residents, we really shouldn't have to deal with that. And I talked with the township administration, so I probably bent their ear a little bit on this, but this was really needed. I wish it would have passed last month, but that's the whole reason why I came up today, to make sure that this thing got passed. So, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John Bearden, 36 West Park Avenue. I want to piggyback on what Dan was saying. But the one question I do have is, today, the individual across the street from me who's been renting his pool out moved a barbecue grill the size of a car into his driveway for, as I'm assuming, the parties he's going to be having this weekend.
For Labor Day?
Is there anything that can be done about that? Because, I mean, this guy has his parties, it shakes my windows.
Oh, I can
Mother-in-law lives in the house.
I think that there's some confusion on the housing code ordinance that we
Versus-
passed. Yes.
Yeah.
The housing code ordinance that we passed is about certificate of occupancies and finding and doing the zoning portion of it.
Okay.
What you both are talking about, it will be our short-term rental ordinance, which is something the council is going to be discussing at the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
So they are different, but they will play in together. But yeah, the housing code is more
Well,
on zoning.
And we understand that
Yeah.
that property is
I
a
mean,
huge
it is
issue.
a huge issue, you know. I speak for Don Smith, who's my next door neighbor. He's in hospice care now, and he's got to put up with the music and everything that goes on, you know. And I mean, he's bedridden, you know, and it's just horrible for that neighborhood.
And we know the traffic there has been an issue, the parking,
Oh.
the parties.
Yeah, there's not a single car there. It's got a New Jersey plate on it. I don't know how they get away with that.
We did get it taken down off the Simply.
No, it's back on.
Swimply,
Back
yeah.
up there
It's
now?
on there
And
right
that's-
now.
That's part of the issue where we have, it comes down, he puts it back, it's back up, it's down, it's back up. So our zoning officer has been out there, as have code enforcement, and our police department has been out every weekend, we hear about it, so they are very well aware of it. Again, the conversation that will happen later this evening about our short-term rental ordinance will address
But one of the things
exactly
that's
what you're...
confusing us is, you know, especially the people who live in the neighborhood, you know, we've been told to call the police whenever they have the party that we know, is being rented out. And it's happened 3 times now. The police come and they just drive by. And then the music gets louder.
Right. So unfortunately,
Yeah,
the
for
police
continuing
can't,
to- I
they
know,
can't do something for a
right,
party,
right,
is what it
right,
is. And, you know,
right.
the municipality is taking it from an administrative standpoint. That's what we are right now, until we can get our short-term rental ordinance in place.
And
which-
just to add on that, you know, I mean, the house rules that they have listed on their website right now is nudity, loud music, third-party vendors, parties, smoking, and alcohol. I mean, third-party vendors and nudity, is that anything that we want?
Can you take a screenshot of that and send it to?
We have
Right
it.
here.
We
You
do
have it?
have
You have it already?
We do
Okay.
have it, yes.
You
You
know,
have
I mean,
it, all right.
So I have this correct. So when the police come, they can't like knock on the door?
So if there's a party and if there's nothing that's being violated by way of noise, or if it's just a large party, then no.
Yes, the
If it's
11
not,
o'clock hour or
if it's a
something.
nuisance, then yes, they can, but they can't, if it's just a party, unfortunately, they can't. That's why we've had to take it as an administrative action up here, which is what we have done.
When does that noise ordinance kick in, Susan? What time? Is that 10 o'clock,
During the week, it's 10, on the weekends, it's 11,
11 o'clock?
11 PM.
You know, and the only noise that we deal with after those hours is all the cars leaving, or him sitting with his big trucks idling, you know. So in the summertime, right now, you got your windows open, you know, we're smelling diesel fumes because he's got all those big trucks up there, you know.
Isn't there an ordinance for running the car?
For
Well, yeah,
idling,
it's all for
idling,
them
yeah.
moving all their vehicles around so that they can
Right.
get their vehicles back in the driveway and let everybody else go.
Like I said, when we have the discussion about the short, it's all in there, and it will clearly address.
I appreciate
your-
that, appreciate
It
it.
will address
I just
their
want-
concerns.
can I
Yeah,
say
you
that?
can come back up.
I thought that this was already passed with the
Right.
13.
Can you just
So
state your
now-
name and address again?
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Dan Keebler, 33 West Park
Thank
Avenue. I've been a resident for about 40 years in this town. I've owned 3 properties, right? And this, what we're dealing with, you know, John and myself and everyone that's close to this, but it could happen next to anyone's house with this Swimply thing. The first party, there were 50 or 60 cars, 200 people, you know, getting changed in the street. The other day, drinking a bottle of vodka in the middle of the street. I saw a woman get out, leave the party, stand in the middle of the road, watching, what the heck is this lady doing? She gets in a car, smashes into another car, and then drives away. So this is what we're getting. Porta pot on the front lawn, right? And it's happening.
That has to be against code.
It is, and we have cited the resident.
They moved it into their backyard now.
Right.
Yeah, so it is so if you're going to, this is a residential area, you know, and it's not a business. They're running a business out of that area, so to take that into consideration, and also public safety. You know, how many people can they have in the area? Does the area go through some type of inspection, right? They got a swimming pool with diving boards, you know. Like
I
John
believe-
said, they just pulled up a barbecue pit that came on a trailer. It's as big as a car. So we're probably going to end up dealing with this weekend, you know.
We've been finding them, haven't we?
Yeah, we have been issuing the notices.
It's
of
not
violation
working.
on the- We know, and that's why, again, this next ordinance that we're going to discuss later in the evening is the short-term rental ordinance, and it addresses all of these concerns, specifically the Swimply, the renting out of accessory structures, those sorts of things. So there will be a much bigger discussion at the end, and I promise you
Okay.
it does address it. And we hear you, we do know.
Okay.
What I would say is that when you see it, please call the police. Please do
Well,
not
I
hesitate
called the
to
police,
call.
and the police came out, and they told me, we were told by a lieutenant, my sergeant called the lieutenant. Lieutenant said, we're not to do anything about it.
Okay.
So that's what ended up happening.
Okay.
So then when I call and I say, hey, listen, this is going on, first thing they said, did you call the police? They said not to call. So,
I'm going to have the officer in the back come up and speak.
I don't know if I'm allowed.
Because I see your faces going on.
So just to the repair.
I don't wanna call you out.
I've actually spoken to you a couple times in reference to some of the ordinance. So just for your clarification, just for everybody else's clarification, at any point in time that you feel that noise is an issue, it does not matter time, right? You have the ability to then document, what I suggest is you take video, right? Take video of what's going on, what it's doing inside of your house. You then can come up to the court and you can sign what's called a noise ordinance violation as a private citizen. So you have the right to do that with any township ordinance, to include anything with idling or whatever. The idling is a signable, right? So like if you go up to Wawa, you notice that it says no idling zone. That's something that's specific by signage by New Jersey law, like by Title 39. So some of the stuff, right, you can do. Anytime that you feel like there's a noise violation, when we spoke, it was about the vehicle, right? The commercial vehicle, it had a tag on it.
all right, yeah, I wasn't talking,
No,
I was
I'm
talking
just
about
saying.
this ordinance.
Gotcha.
You know.
I'm just saying that you and I have spoken about some of that stuff.
Right, right.
So,
And that was taken care
yeah.
of pretty much,
But
but.
there's been,
Brian?
as far as I'm aware, there's been no,
Martina.
don't respond stuff. Yes. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very
I
welcome.
know you really wanted to say it.
What's that?
You were biting your lip.
No, I just want to document it, and so that everyone on the board knows.
Okay.
This is a problem, and this is not just a problem in our town.
I know.
I have a friend that's on the Cinnaminson council, and as soon as I told them what was going on, they looked it up, and they said, oh, no, we can't have this where we're at, you know. So everyone's is going to start doing these ordinances to take care of this, because, hey, if it was just a regular thing and it's, everyone, you would probably wouldn't even notice that somebody was doing this. But some people take it to the extremes, right? And that's what we got to start considering. the people that take it to the extremes, because if you don't pass this ordinance, that's exactly what's going to happen, exactly what John just said. There's a big barbecue pit that's not there for 10, 15 people. There's going to be hundreds of people there. Now, I don't know, but I'm just saying, we're going to have a problem this weekend, Saturday. So if you got, at the end of this meeting, right, and you talk about it, are you going to make a decision tonight about this?
So it's under new business, and then we could introduce an ordinance by name, by title only.
Okay,
If we
so
agree as council.
by like tomorrow, would that be actionable by the
No, unfortunately, it wouldn't. It would have to
before.
go
Okay,
for
so
an
when-
adoption in September.
September 18th.
September?
So we
Yes,
got
it has
to
to-
live with this weekend. So that
Well,
when the summer
no.
season's over.
No,
it's
so-
already rented as,
So
property
again,
at that time.
the violations that have been issued so far are administrative. That's all, that's what we have. The business, it's not a business. Those are the violations that we go on. So our zoning officer will go back out again tomorrow. We'll issue the violations for, the money, the fines that need to be issued. Does it stop the party? It probably won't. That's going to be something that, again, as Officer Martino had said, call. If there's a noise violation, you have to please call them. I know I was called one weekend. I went out, I took video. I made sure I had everything and sent it over to the police. But it really helps to call the police directly when it's happening, to take the video of it so that we have evidence of it. Because again, if the officers don't get out there, if it's quiet when the officers show up, they
And we see
can't
this
do
in
it.
other
So-
communities too. I think it was over in Gloucester, right? They had hundreds of people at these parties, and then the local police, I don't know how many were on duty, they're outnumbered. You may have 6, 8 police officers, you got hundreds of kids or people, they don't want to disperse, they have to get mutual response from
Right.
other towns to try to help out, and then they went into another community, then they went into a Wawa or something, then they looted that, so we could see that this is what's going to happen here, and we're seeing a real problem. So, well, that's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Rose?
Got more people.
She was raising her hand a couple times.
Yeah.
Hi, Rose Young, 225 South Clinton Avenue, Maple Shade. Hi, everybody. It's been a long time since I've been in this room, and a really long time since I sat back there. But we have something going on in town, and we want to get it addressed. We have Maple Shade Arts Council. I started it back in 1999 when I was the mayor, and it's still in existence. And to this date, from, what is it now, 24 years, it still doesn't have a home. They leave Maple Shade to perform. They leave Maple Shade to have camps for the kids. They're limited to what they can do. They pay a fortune for the rental spaces, for storage. It's just horrible to expand. They can't expand, and they can't offer more. So we came up here tonight. There's members from the Arts Council here on the board. There's also people here who take pride in being on stage. Maybe they'd like to speak too. We are really hoping to get a home in Maple Shade and really want the Wells Fargo Bank building. We did send a letter hoping they would donate it. So selfishly, they said no. And actually, who I wrote the letter to did not say no. I would love to know who interceded that letter and if we can get an actual letter to who I wrote it to, because his daughters are in musical theater. And I think he'd be a great aspect for donating that building. He makes a ton of money. I know it's expensive, but I think it would offer a lot to Main Street. I think it would build our business district huge, bring in so much more, and advocate for every business in town. We have a lot of vacant buildings that are going to be open soon. What is there, 8 in that store under the new apartments? 7 or 8 stores there. The store in the corner. There's empty buildings, and I think they'd fill up a lot faster if there was a nucleus to draw them here. And a theater in any town has done that. And you can ask so many people. I've gotten 2 letters today from, one from Kurt Bohm, who moved to Washington and Maryland. He has 2 theater companies there, and they're thriving like crazy where he is. We have so many kids that go out of town for a theater program because they just can't find it here, and we can't offer enough. And we would love to. We would love to have adult theater. We have 2 apartment complexes that would be subscribing so fast because there's nothing else for them really to do here in town. And they would be at that theater for every show. I can guarantee that it would fill up really fast on just those apartment complexes, especially over 55 and a senior complex. So I would love it if some of the members of the board would come up and address this as well. There may be other locations that you guys can think of. I don't really walk around town anymore to see what else is open, but when that Wells Fargo opened for sale, I was like, whoa, that was such a green flag to try to do this now. I think we're going to lose the window of opportunity if it sells. So it's something that, it would need to be discussed ASAP. I think God's on our side at this point because it did not sell yet. And he knows I've been screaming for quite a while now about that building. I wish I could hit a lottery and buy it, but it's not happening. I don't gamble. So if you guys don't mind, if we can get some of the other speakers to come up. I'm only doing costumes, and I hide as much as I can. This is the Limelight people. This is Jill Remger, and she is the president of the Maple Shade Arts Council, and has been for how many years, Jill? Fourth year.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Jill.
Thanks. What was the last name?
It's Renbjor, Renbjor, and I'm at 315 Gradwell Avenue in Maple Shade. I had something written, but Rose kind of hit on everything that we said. We kind of revamped Maple Shade Arts Council in 2014. It was originally part of the Maple Shade Community Alliance, and when they wanted to move towards more of they wanted us to introduce like a drug program in with it, and it just didn't kind of align with our kids at that time. Right now, we're currently doing our summer program, which this year our numbers were kind of low because the summer programs in the area for theaters, every theater in the area has them. I will say that we are the cheapest one in the area. The closest one to us is Burlington County Footlighters, and they charge more than double than what we charge. Our program right now is from 9 to 1. We run it out of Grace Episcopal Church in Merchantville. Father Bob Fitzpatrick has been fabulous in giving us a home, and we've worked well with him. However, the cost that we do incur with that is a total of about $8,000 a year. And that is we're currently running 3 programs, our summer program that we do, and then this year we're doing the best Christmas pageant ever, which is it'll have adults and children involved with it, and then we also run a junior program, which is 1st grade through 8th graders. I graduated Maple Shade High School. Maple Shade High School I did all the arts there. I did the shows for years. We were always a very big sports town. I always felt that theater was kind of pushed towards the back. My mother tried me in sports. I was put on the softball field, and the only reason I went is because I was promised a free snow cone. And then when I was 9, I auditioned for a show at Maple Shade High School and got a role in The King and I. Theater touches so many kids. The kids that really don't feel like they have a place in a sporting event or a place on a field or anything like that. We have children in our program that have disabilities, that are autistic, have other social problems, and they come into us and they find a home with theater. We accept everybody. We love everybody. We do offer a scholarship to Maple Shade High School every year. This year it was, from Maple Shade Arts Council. This year it went to a gentleman from Holy Cross High School who had been a member of our program forever. We do enjoy our relationship with Grace Episcopal Church, but it would be very nice to have a place that we didn't have to ship our lighting and our sound equipment and all that into every time. My husband and another gentleman, Jay Grant, and my brother-in-law, they are the ones that load everything in and out, and it takes a good full day to get all of our equipment inside and out. Costumes, we also are keeping costumes in sheds and attics and things like that, and we're just asking for a space that we can call our own, that we can have everything there that can be, that way we could offer more things to kids. We would love to have some sort of a dance program, more theater programs. I just think it'd be really beneficial. I think if we did have something in the town, restaurants would benefit from it. The township alone would benefit from having that type of thing in our town. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm just going to go a little bit more onto that. Beth Rancani. I live at 204 South Clinton in Maple Shade, and I'm the treasurer of the Arts Council. Over the years, Grace Episcopal has been great with us, but over the years, our fees for him have increased. During COVID, we literally almost went under. I mean, we still had, I think I was paying $6,000 at the storage unit, and we were unable to, we had no shows. So we had no income, and we were putting out, I think we still had to keep our insurance current, so we still had at least $10,000 in bills. We got to the end of COVID, and we had $4,000 left in our account. So I was like, all right, we got to do something, or, Grace Episcopal was great. They were like, we'll see how this goes. And they kind of charged us almost like on a per person basis at that time, which helped us come back. And slowly but surely we are coming back. But now, for our summer camp, we pay $5,000 just for the summer camp. So we're trying to keep our costs low because we do only charge $450. As Jill said, we want to keep Maple Shade kids in our program. And we don't want to charge, Cherry Hill charges $1,650 for their camp. So we would like to keep it so our kids can afford it. It's just getting harder with rent increasing. OLPH has been great. They also, during COVID, they were going to try it and give us their spot. Their spot's not handicap accessible, and the basement of the church, it was built as a bomb shelter. So it's we had our lights down there and they blew out. So it wasn't feasible. So that was all I really had to add to that. So.
And you're the treasurer, are you a 501c3?
We are, yeah. We are in the process of restarting that. So that should be done within the next month or so.
And all of your board members or volunteers are not paid?
Correct.
Nobody gets paid on your board?
No. We do, we have stipends where some of our directors for shows and summer camps will get paid, but the board positions are not paid.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, Mayor, yesterday, before I'd even known Jen, our Director of Business Economic Development, had already set up a meeting with Jill and Beth, and she had asked me to come in, so I had spoken with them, and I had shared with many of you. Back in my last town, I ran South Jersey Stageworks. It was another program just like this. We did it based off of a summer camp. So I did have the opportunity to speak with both of them yesterday. I do have some ideas, as far as what we can do. They were saying that they spent $6,000 on storage fees at a storage unit. Well, we do have some space here. So, maybe getting some of that equipment out. I said we have upstairs. That definitely could be, what we use. We can find some other places here. Have a couple other ideas. I'd asked about if they'd ever reached out to the school district. Again, that was something, that's how we did it. It was the same thing. You're on a very tight budget, and you only see these kids, so many times during the year. So I did offer to reach out to the school, see if we can come up with some sort of partnership with there, because it is an expense. I do agree that, the arts is something that would be wonderful for this town. It's why the BEDC has taken on, we're doing that color run, that's going to be to promote arts with, throughout the community, not just, theater arts, but also, graphic arts and painting and those sorts of things. So, I will work closely with them and, try to come up with something, but the immediate that we can offer is definitely storage space to get your bins out of people's basements, to get them out of a $6,000 a year storage unit. At least that would help, so we can make that accommodation. And then as far as a location, again, I would be willing to work with, whoever I have to in the community to kind of make those connections. Similar to what we do with our sports organizations. I mean, it's something, that our sports organizations, they're able to use township fields, but they have requirements too. So I think that would be a good way to start, at least to, to get them, to at least start the conversation and get them back here into Maple Shade.
Well, I think they need a home. I think it's been long overdue. I know that when we have parades and events, they're the first people that get called to come and participate. And I think for the township itself, it's not just to the young kids, it's for all ages of people. It's arts for older people, younger people. And I think there's an opportunity here for us, if we have that building, that we could recoup some of the income or the cost to it, because it's my understanding that there's a lot of places that are looking to rent a space for a night or have a show there. And I think extremely beneficial to this town. We spend a lot of time and effort on sports, and I think it's about time that the township, looks at the arts and the kids that are involved in that. Instead of worry about them being on the street, we have a place for them to go and a place to use, a place to call home.
I think everybody here on council wants the arts back. I don't know why they left in the first place. They weren't thrown out, I don't believe, by an old council. But the Wells Fargo building, I believe, is currently has an offer or two on the table.
They do. I did reach out to them yesterday, and they do have an offer. They have an offer on the table.
And I believe, does everybody from arts want the Wells Fargo building? Or?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if
That's
that came up
something
in your conversation or not.
We had discussed, other locations. So I don't necessarily know if it has to be the Wells Fargo. I'm sure if there's a home that we can get you all, working with it reasonably. Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Well, a home for them, if it's theirs, we don't have to worry about putting them in the schools or having people in the schools. It's their place. They have it. If it was at Wells Fargo, I don't see any downside to that. It's going to bring foot traffic in for the eateries, the businesses. That's just a win-win across the board for the township as far as I'm concerned. Putting them somewhere is nice to have a place to operate, but a home for them would be the ultimate goal as far as I'm concerned, because then they don't have to worry about being put out, going to Merchantville, worrying about the school using it first. There's a lot of considerations that go in with that.
And I don't disagree with that at all. The point of the matter is that the Wells Fargo building is asking $650,000. There would need to be significant renovations made to it to get it to, there would need to be a stage, there would need lighting, those sorts of things. So there may actually be other areas in town that would still benefit. Again, I think that there needs to be more research done and just not focus on the Wells Fargo. I understand.
I'm not focusing on it, but it's opportunity, and it could be a missed opportunity. They're telling us we have bids. We don't know that. Throw them a bid for $200,000 and see what they say. What's the worst they can say? That happened before in this town, and the people agreed to sell it for that money.
If council wants to do that through capital and we want to readjust some capital money for it, then we certainly can, but we would definitely need to reappropriate capital money out of the bond ordinances, because that's not something that we can just purchase.
I think instead of missing the opportunity, we put a bid in on it. We have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and if we can get a hold of the person that's in charge of that and speak to them. The building's sitting empty. They're paying money right now for it to exist. So if they can get a portion of it, then it may be a win-win for them. We don't know. But unless we ask, we can't be told no.
Okay.
We can definitely have further conversation,
I-
or if you want.
I would like us to look into it. I would like the township manager to look into that and see where it goes.
And then who's paying for the construction? I didn't see a plan tonight. I didn't see anything. I don't know how I don't know how much it takes to build a theater from the minimum to the maximum. I didn't see a plan at all from anybody tonight yet, unless it's still coming up. I don't know who's paying the electric bills and making up on the tax rateable. That would be my concern as a council member. I don't think it should fall on the taxpayers.
I agree.
I think there should be a plan.
I agree.
So.
I mean, we can look into something else, but,
Yeah.
that's.
I think there's a lot of space that we could look at. I know I've spoken to Rose about some other spaces and asked her to come up with proposals.
I definitely think we need to do some research. We definitely need to find a home for the arts. They need a home, a permanent home. I'm not sure that the Wells Fargo building is the home that is going to be affordable. I think there might be some other locations that we could purchase for cheaper and donate back to the Arts Council.
As I explained them to you yesterday, the 501c3 will help as far as grant
Correct.
money goes too. So, and then there could always be public and private partnerships that we go into with grant money. So I definitely think, that we should research it a little bit more.
100%.
Let me start. I know immediately it seemed, and correct me if I'm wrong, the immediate need was definitely storage. That's $6,000 savings that we can save them right off the bat. If we can get them here, space here in the municipal building. And then we go from there, and I know that we spoke about a couple other things as far as, camps and with the school district. So I will definitely make that. I have their contact information, and we can go from there. And, I mean, I'll talk to Wells Fargo. I mean, I've spoken with them. I had spoken with them at length yesterday after, after our meeting, and they did.
I sent letters in February
Okay,
and March.
but I'll also look at, yeah.
Rose, did you get a denial in your letter? I didn't.
I actually got an email
back after I asked
Okay.
them. I got an email back from someone else, not from who we sent the letters to.
Okay.
Someone else who just interceded everything and said that that building, that they're still interested in keeping it for sale.
Okay. Anybody else in the public? I think you.
I'll definitely do some more research.
At least we have a kickoff.
One question,
to
Beth, you
look
are getting,
further.
you are in process of getting the 501c3?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my
Thank you.
question.
We did have it during COVID and it kind of lapsed, so we're just working on getting it back up to.
Good, because that would help with what Susan said,
With
yes.
Getting some grant money.
Yes.
Getting some grant money to move forward.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexis Romeo. I live at 103 South Poplar, Maple Shade. I'm here to read a few letters, and then I also can kind of speak on my legacy of basically being birthed as the child of the Maple Shade Arts Council. So my first letter to council and to whom it may concern. Thank you for taking the time to hear our town's plea for a permanent location for the Maple Shade Arts Council's theater program that has been in full effect since 1999. My name is Margot Manduini Mullen, and I have lived here in our town my entire life, 41 years. I shared a bit of my story and personal perspective on how theater has shaped my life. Through theater, I found and utilized my inner voice. This has helped me greatly in building my self-confidence. I see this in my ability to speak publicly, run and operate my own business, and sustain and employ a work ethic that has allowed me to see many projects to fruition and completion. Theater gave me the opportunity to express myself out loud, creativity, be silly, and engage in play without judgment. I learned the importance of emotional expression, exploration, and empathy. Hearing and diving into storylines that were not my own has instilled in me compassion towards my neighbor and a heart for understanding their position is if different to mine. As I believe the majority of us do, I had my fair struggles, my fair share of struggles. When a sibling fell into drug addiction at a very young age, my parents, like any, did what was needed to save their child. Theater gave me a safe space to be physically and emotionally. It was there I was able to remain a child when life was forcing me to grow up so soon. In theater, I learned to paint, draw, design, build, memorize, dance, and sing. I was exposed to technical skills like sound engineering, sewing, construction garments, makeup, operating light programs. As a young person, I learned how to feel more comfortably with my body, gained spatial awareness and music and muscle articulation. Reading scripts was a fun and engaging way for me to practice my reading comprehension skills, which is something I've struggled with lifelong. I think we can all agree that theater is a benefit to the human experience and our children need it. Our local children have had it, thankfully, in MSAC. Theater provides the same enrichment, skill development, confidence, and team building that sports offer our children. You might ask, what does theater offer our town? Having a theater in the heart of our town will be an immense asset to town culture and an immeasurable aid to our downtown business economy, creating opportunity for youth volunteering as well as general employment. A theater will give our townspeople another point of connection and community. Restaurants, florists, print houses all benefit from the presence of a local theater, and those are the exact businesses we have in our town. Thriving arts and cultural venues make towns more attractive and will also raise our property values, again benefiting our town as a whole. We must thoughtfully consider this plea. Operating our town theater program for over 25 years without a permanent home is devastating to say the least. I commend the MSAC volunteers for their selfless, hard work building into our children all these years. It is imperative that we give the generations of children who have gone before and the ones who will go after these 25 years a permanent place to survive and thrive. Sincerely, Margot Mullen.
I'm sorry, who was it? What was the name of the
Oh,
individuals?
Margot Mullen.
Okay, you can submit that to the township manager, so we have it all.
Is it letter one?
Oh, you can.
Do I have any time
No.
time limits? Okay.
Yeah, you have 5 minutes. You had
5 minutes unless council agrees to further.
Can you just forward that? So
If you'd
we
like, I
can
can have them, I can give them to
Yeah,
council.
this is former letter. This is from who Rose spoke about earlier, Kirk Bohm.
Okay.
And then I am the age of the Arts Council. I would not be the person I am today without this program. Most of you know me. I grew up on stage most of my life. I went to college. I was in choral arts for 5+ years. I'm still performing today. I love what I do. I met my fiance doing theater, and all of our friends still do theater. We all met because of theater. My life is theater, and this program is where it all started. And I really hope you guys consider helping us find a permanent home in town. It would be great to be able to walk to a theater and enjoy that passion with all of my local friends. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
Anybody else on the Arts Council? Okay. Well, I don't want to cut anybody off. I just have a quick clarification.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. Karen Mastrangelo, 31 Overbrook Avenue. Things were moving real quick when we first started, but for ordinances, introductions, and first reading. Ordinance 25-13, the chicken pilot program that was introduced, but it was not seconded. Was that correct? And so it's dead in the water. Got it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Rosario. I live at 408 North Fork Landing Road, upstairs. My mom is downstairs. I just want to thank everybody. It seems like the response is you're very open-minded and positive about it, and for that we thank you for your open-mindedness and looking into it. I've been teaching Maple Shade kids voice for 20 years now, off and on, but pretty much on. And I spent 3 years as the music teacher at Steinhauer, from which I've moved on. I'm now building up my business again, and I'm renting out of town too. Maybe it could be a place that I could rent in the future to, stay in town, because we all love this town, and it has a lot of talent. It's a very special place. The kids who come through here, I always say there's something in the water. But I just wanted to add too, as far as people may be thinking, oh, well, theater is not really my cup of tea. Theater is just evolving and changing. It's not just Oklahoma now, like how it used to be. We're bringing in, there's productions that have, screens, and there's multimedia involved. The music has evolved. There's, like I say to kids in school, in class, there's music in musical theater for everybody. There's hip hop, there's rap, there's jazz, there's country. So I think it can touch a lot of people, can bring a lot of people together, different aspects of the arts too, the visual arts, performing arts, the band. And there's just some great teaching here in the district. And I'm also a mother of 2. My daughter loves theater too, and she currently has been out of town, but I would love to bring her back into town. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. Thank you for looking into this. It probably really would benefit the town a lot.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Steve Schmidt, 520 Sunset Avenue. I agree with everything they're saying about the council, or the Art Council. Not sure I agree with the money end of it. We've got to figure that end of it out. My question is, if there was a building in town that we already own, that we pay all the utilities on, it's got plenty of parking, would that be the ideal situation?
You speak of this building?
Do you know one?
I do know one.
Okay, let us know.
I do know one that was deeded somewhere that required a certain action that isn't happening, and it's the firehouse. The property was deeded to the IFC as long as they are providing fire services for the township of Maple Shade. They are not. It's our building as residents. So there's your building. Don't have to spend $200,000.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, seeing none. Can I have a motion
To close.
to close, please?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving over to staff and professional comments. Mr. Simonsek, we'll start with you.
I just wanted to say to the townspeople and the people here, we had agreed that we weren't going to do closed session before the meeting, but for some reason tonight that happened. So I'm just apologizing to the people of the town and to the people in this room that we didn't keep our word in that and made you sit here. Also, Margaret Toth was a resident of this town. She lived to be 100 years and 3 months old. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that she spent a lifetime participating and donating time, to which it equated to almost 200 years of volunteer service in this town. I had the pleasure of knowing her for the last 40-some years of her life, but I think it's a notable thing to just put out there all the contributions that she gave to this town and the time she put into it. 200 years of service is a lot of time to donate to a town, so I just wanted to bring that up for Margaret and her family.
Thank you. Mr. Simon. Mr. Zarowski?
Yeah, I have a couple comments. School's getting ready to start. I'm hoping everybody's getting safe to go back. Also want to add that I'm very disappointed that the hens did not go through. People put a lot of time and effort into this, and I'm extremely disappointed in the fact that it wasn't passed. It's a very viable option. This program that we put out there did a lot of time and work, and extremely disappointed in that. That's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we're coming to the end of the summer. Of course, the kids are going to be going back, but, you have the opportunity to spend the, next few weeks with the kids and just get that quality time and just be careful. It is a very hectic, the Labor Day weekend is very hectic, and just enjoy yourselves. Make sure you stay safe and get the kids back to school, and please be careful when the beginning of September winds up, because the kids are going to be wild to go back, and they're going to not be paying attention to any of their surroundings. So just be very careful. I believe we're going to have Front Street going to be done by then. So
No.
No, we're on behind. Well, I'm just saying, so just be very diligent on keeping everybody safe, right? And have a wonderful rest of the summer. I don't have much to say because I really have poison ivy all over me, so I have really nothing much going on here.
All right, Mr. Kaufman.
Thank you, Mayor. Andrew, I agree with you on Margaret Toth. Margaret Toth spent so many years. Matter of fact, she was the first Citizen of the Year here at Maple Shade, awarded by Rotary. So yeah, she was something else. In terms of John being upset about the chicken thing not passing, there is another option for having chickens in here, and people don't seem to realize that you can go to zoning and have a request to have chickens. It's very easy to do. That gives the opportunity for your neighbors to say, wait a minute, I don't want chickens next to me. I don't want my dog getting over into your yard, killing your chickens, and then you're coming back to me and say, oh, you owe me, $50,000, $150,000, whatever. So there is a method for getting chickens. You just have to realize that you just have to go to zoning. And we even reduced the cost for going to zoning to do that.
Wasn't it to 50?
No, we
I
didn't.
forget it was.
Yeah, we
No, we didn't.
Yes,
reduced
we
the
did.
cost considerably.
We talked about reducing it. And
No,
then
we
put
did it before you guys were on.
Yeah, they
Oh, okay.
lowered it. We lowered
Because
it.
that was part of this proposal, that it
Yeah.
was going to be a reduced.
Yes, it's been.
Which it was in this proposal as well. We met the same.
Okay.
We met the same.
So it's possible.
No, that's not.
Okay, Terry?
The thing with the chickens, chickens.
Excuse me, if you want to come on up.
Oh, well, it's not open to the
It's not
public.
open.
We can't.
It's not open, it's
It's
closed.
very important. I mean, it's
So,
nice to have chickens and all that, but they do draw rats.
Thank
So
you.
when you get that problem, what do you
Susan,
go
did
with?
you have anything?
I do not.
Okay.
I'll have it in my report.
Okay.
They also kill rats.
All right, well, I have good news. We are starting a Friends of the Library group here in Maple Shade. I think we're the only county, or the only town in Burlington County that doesn't have one. We had our first meeting last night. This will help enhance the library experience and promote community awareness. As of today, we can start collecting book donations. Once our group is fully set up with the 501c3, we will look into having fundraisers such as book sales. So if anybody's interested in joining the group,
Yes.
or helping out with different things, please reach out. Like I said, we're going to meet probably quarterly, so get it up and running. And that's all I have. So we'll go over to old business. Operations?
Thank you. So the Fork Landing and Yoakum School roadway safety and sidewalk improvements has been completed. I don't know, Dennis, if you're going to have a little bit on that too, but probably, so I'll let you do that. The East Front Street and Alexander Avenue project, we were just informed that concrete crews are going to mobilize on Thursday, August 21st. So that's today. That's it, yeah, 21st. This work will take approximately 2 weeks. Inlet reconstruction and manhole adjustments are going to take place September 8th to 12th, and milling and paving will begin on Monday, September 15th, and completed by September 19th, weather permitting. We did have extensive discussions. The police were involved. We've spoken with the contractor. We tried to do everything we could to get it done before school started, and it just didn't happen. So they're very well aware of the nuances over at the school and the parking and all that. Police department is, there's a good relationship there, they're working, and everybody will discuss, and we will make that hopefully as flawless and seamless as possible. North Coles, Lancey to Park, and the Roland Avenue project has been given notice to proceed as of September 8th. That project has a 60-day timeline, so hopefully by November, well, not hopefully, we're going to make sure that they're done by November 6th, that is done. Windsor Avenue, we've received a lot of calls, had spoken with several residents via email. There's going to be CCTVing work done there. I received confirmation right before this meeting that that's going to be done next week, August 28th and 29th. That work is going to allow us to determine the status of the infrastructure as we prepare for future roadway. That roadway is definitely in some bad shape, and it needs to be redone. So we were working on that. Concerts in the Park wrapped up on Tuesday evening. Also, I'm pleased to announce that we have been awarded $125,000 for the Burlington County Municipal Park Development Program. These funds will be issued to install a new pickleball court and fencing over at Woodlawn Park. With this award, also, I just want to make everybody aware that the Township has now secured more than $800,000 in recreational grant funding just this year to enhance our parks. So thank you to everybody that has been a part of that. For those looking for adventure, I had mentioned it just a little while ago, the BEDC is sponsoring a color run or a walk for those of us that don't run. And that is the color run for the arts. It'll be on Saturday, September 27th. Please check-in is at 9 a.m. and the walk run will begin at 10 a.m. To register, you can head over to our Township webpage or our Facebook page. And then just some highlights from our department heads for the month of July. Maple Shade Police Department answered 2,412 calls in the month of July, with which 587 were property checks, 16 juvenile complaints, 81 motor vehicle-related incidents, and 192 traffic stops. Of course, the PD also hosted National Night Out on August 5th, beginning of the month. That evening was filled with family fun for all ages and another successful event. No rain. It was partially inside, some outside, so that was a great event. Maple Shade Fire official reported the following. He had 81 incidents, 9 investigations, 186 inspections, cited 253 violations, 8 consultations, 114 re-inspections, and has performed 7 public education sessions to date. For the month of July, we took in a total of $66,007. That's in combined fees, state, local, municipality penalties. $13,225 of that goes to the municipality. So that office is definitely a bonus that we have that back here in the municipality. EMS answered 294 calls in July, bringing their total to 1,948. I also want to note that if residents don't know, obviously our residents don't get charged when they don't go into collections when there's a service. However, they have written off, the EMS has written off $72,426 year to date just in resident billings. So that's an important number. Like they rely obviously on their billings. The state changed Medicaid and Medicare billings, so they don't get much from that. They get $51 per run for Medicaid and Medicare. Then on top of it, they write off the township residents portion that aren't covered by insurance, so that a resident doesn't go. So just kind of keep that in mind when the drives come through. They really could use that help. Maple Shade Fire Department had 47 calls in the month of July, bringing their total for the year to 317. Average number of calls answered by a firefighter throughout the year has been 23.2 calls. That's the average. So some of the firefighters have answered 75 calls, some, triple the amount of the average. Some have answered 5, but that's just some numbers to put out there. Our construction department continues to remain steady. They've performed over 1,100 inspections through the end of June this year. That's a 14% increase over the same period last year. However, revenues are down approximately 18% in that department. This difference is obviously attributed to fewer larger scale development projects. It's just people the people are getting permitted, but they're smaller projects on this. What's this?
The cost for doing that now is gone.
That's what it is.
Skyrocket.
And then lastly, as of July 31st, our current fund account balance was $6,451,707.28. Our water sewer operating account balance was $1,464,527.75, totaling $7,916,235.03. This balance does not reflect our additional $3.9 million across our trust, general capital, and utility capital accounts. So we're standing in a good position. And that ends my report from the department heads and me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Engineers report.
I'm trying to be fast, but here's I have a listing of ongoing projects that we're working on. And one of the big things that has changed is Maple Shade's now a Tier 2 community as far as by the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank. We've had some initial meetings with them, which just started July 1st. We're probably eligible up to $2 million in principal forgiveness for water projects every year for the next 3 years, and also for the clean water, which is the wastewater and stormwater, we also could qualify for another $2 million in principal forgiveness. So we're trying to identify projects to take advantage of those programs, and they're a little slow in getting started with the program, and we want to take advantage of this first year. Susan, I talked to them today about if we can do equipment purchase, and they would possibly allow us to purchase the jetter that they've been looking at that could be shared by both Public Works and Sewer Department. So that's probably a possible target, but we'll have to talk about where the priority is going to be for that. Kings Highway Water Plant, that's been out of service, it's antiquated, but we really need to bring it back into service. We've been trying to purchase land. We're very close, but there's an antenna company had right of first refusal, and we're trying to get through that last hurdle with that. We did receive $850,000 from a congressional grant, so we're updating the 2 well houses as the first step of that project, and then we're also going to be eligible for now through the principal forgiveness through the iBank probably to get free money for emergency contaminants. So we're waiting to have a follow-up meeting with them when they get organized on that. As far as the Main Street water plant, that's the workhouse. That's where all our water supply has been coming from in the most recent years. I remember when it was a new plant, but now it's over 20 years old. Well 12, which was one of the main wells, there's 3 main wells there that all produce 1,250 gallons per minute. It failed this spring. There was a hole in it, and we had gravel, 18 feet of gravel at the bottom of the well. We were able to airlift that out, and we put a new well, a 12-inch well, inside of the existing 18-inch casing. So we lost a little bit of capacity, but we were able to work with that. That project's now complete, and that well's back online in service. Other things there, we do have some of the polyfluoride issues there. We've through with Susan and Woodard and Kern and Remington Vernick, we did apply for all these lawsuits that are out there for some of these larger companies. We're getting over $2 million coming back. I think we got our first check of like $450,000, and there's scheduled payments that are coming out for that, and those can be designated towards. Actually, you can really designate that in different ways, but we're probably targeting to do some of the treatment. We have the big carbon treatment at that plant. In 2029, the limits are going to increase for, currently we're in compliance, but we'll be out of compliance for one of the wells in 2029 when the new standards go into place. And also, we're always testing for emerging contaminants. There's always new regulations. 1,4-dioxane is something that's going to be regulated. So anything we would do there, we would also take in consideration for treatment in that regard. As far as water system improvements, under the Water Quality Act, we have to do certain main improvements. We just completed Alexander Avenue, and now we're going to be starting with the paving. A contract's been awarded for that. Rose Avenue, from basically the water main's been completed on that project. There's final mill and overlay after their settlement period, so that should be taking place sometime in September or October. And then lead services, the EPA is requiring that all towns replace any galvanized or lead service lines up to the water meter in the homes. We're out to bid for that project, and we'll have bids in early September. Again, this is through the iBank. We're going to get 50% principal forgiveness, and then the other thing is it's probably going to be close to a $2 million project. We can use part of that $2 million of water money for the second portion of that. So we're going to have to get with your bond counsel and do the interim financing for that, but that's something that we're setting up. As far as sewer system projects, obviously we're under EPA administrative order to address extraneous flows. A lot of it is sump pumps. In the springtime, when the groundwater gets high, we get really high flows to the plant, and then during rain events also. So we're ongoing with them, trying to address some of the concerns. They want to see certain improvements. The Main Street force main, we did complete the phase 1 of that project. The second phase of that's going to require us to get an easement on Moore Street and then adjoining property come up to Pine Street. Again, that's a project we're going to put in for 2 years from now for the funding through the iBank, but we really need to start the design and engineering and getting the easements in place for that. The advantage of getting an easement on Moore Street also is we have some hydraulic issues with our water system. So if we could tap into the 16-inch mains that go up across near the soccer field and then go up Moore Street and out to Pine Avenue with at least a 12-inch main, that would improve the hydraulics going out to the western part of the township. Main Street sewer replacement, we just finally got back. We've been dealing with the county. I think the permits and Booth Mechanical should be out there doing some test pits, and you should see action out there this fall. There is going to be traffic control, but right now most of the work's going to be in the sidewalk area, but that needs to be finalized with the county traffic control plan. Then also the housing, RPM's housing project, they had to replace a certain amount of sewer, so we're trying to work with them and get their schedule to move that forward. At the wastewater treatment plant, we had a warranty repair with screw pump number 2. That should be put back in service in September. And the capital projects were passed this evening. They have a list of some of those that we know what we want to do here come up in the fall. They need to really want to remove some of the grit from their existing aeration basins and put a storage building up. So those are the 2 main target projects for the wastewater treatment plant. Aces Park is finally completed, except for they have to come back in the fall and do final seeding there. There is one little grading issue which we're looking at, and hopefully they'll be able to address those and clean that up when they do their final seeding out there. This building here, the police building and the holding cells are out of compliance with Department of Corrections. We've been working with the chief and their staff, and we basically put designs together, do the improvements, but we've been dealing with the DOC, and they come back and they keep changing things. So hopefully we're getting very close to being able to bid a project out and go to construction and make those improvements that are necessary. As far as the ongoing road and drainage projects that we're completing, Susan talked about East Front and Alexander, and we certainly got to work with the school there with the delivery and so forth. We did really want the contractor to finish before school started, but he was focused on a couple of other large projects, and we couldn't get him over here. So North Coles and Roland, That's a 2004 grant program, and BlackRock is the contractor for that, and we don't have their schedule yet. I believe it's coming up this fall.
Yeah, that's the one that I said that we gave notice to proceed on September 8th,
Yes.
for September 8th.
So we should have a schedule coming shortly as one of their submissions. And then for the 2025 road program, North Terrace, that's in design. You awarded the water main design for that because we've had a number of breaks there, so we're going to jump in this fall and get the water main completed first. Part of the project, we're also possibly putting in sump pump drainage system to try to give get the homeowners to connect in if possible. And so we want to get the piping work done. We did televise the sewer. We did line a portion of that previously. The other portion would be such that we could do trenchless technology, so we can either do that sewer as completed as a project now, or it's something that can wait because it's something we can do without excavating the roadway. The Oakham School project sidewalk, that's substantially complete. There is final restoration and work that needs to be done out there, but that's complete for the most part. As far as Susan talked on some of the grant money we've gotten for recreational projects, and obviously we put in there for the pickleball courts over at Woodlawn, and then Buttonwood, there's $740,000 Jake's Place grant, and we have to have the design complete for that by November. I know that the congressional grants that we did put in for more money for Kings Highway project, and we've been noticed that, I don't know if the congressional grants are going to go forward in next January, but right now we didn't get as much as we asked, but we're looking at possibly get another $1 million for that. We were on the list that came out recently, and I can talk to, I don't know what the timeline is because these go out in the future, but we certainly can look even for the theater or something like that. I see a lot of times that those type of grants through the congressional grants can get a roof, so that's something to consider too and talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any questions on any of the projects? I'd be glad to answer them.
No, thank you.
I think so.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, moving over to site plan, Andrew.
Yes, at site plan this past month, we had the residents on Elm Avenue who unfortunately lost their house in a fire in December, came before the board. They were seeking relief for the sidewalks. They were under the impression that they had to put curbing and sidewalk in, but due to the events with the fire and the code, it says that they don't have to put sidewalks in. So when they came in, we explained that to them, and they were very happy and thankful, because it was definitely a monetary issue with them that they weren't going to be able to afford. We also had Fox Meadow come in and update us with their process for what they're going to be doing with their dumpster enclosures. We made some recommendations to them, and they're going to be coming back to the site plan to follow up with that. And we also had Main Street and Fork Landing Road. We've had an ongoing issue with the owners of that building about the dumpster enclosure. And I'll bring that up under new business with the dumpsters. A partial resolution for them for right now so that we can get businesses into those empty stores and get Main Street moving along again. And then we had a walk-in for a new build that was trying to get information where to go for zoning. They had a 50-foot frontage and they need 60 feet. So we explained to them what they had to do, and they'll be moving on to zoning. And that's it for site plan. And I'd just like to say thank you to the Arts Council for coming up, putting the time to come up and talk. I know you are passionate about it, and I hope we can work all this out for you.
Okay, moving over to new business, athletic fields.
Yes, so if you recall, I had mentioned something in my activity report about the athletic fields this summer. Every summer, every year, we're getting constrained. Space is limited, we get it. But there definitely is a need for most likely another softball field. We found that during the summer months, specifically in August, we were up against football, soccer, women's softball. So it was not fun. We went back and forth for days trying to come up with something. So definitely something that we need to keep on our minds. There was a floated idea of perhaps in the back of where the community garden is. That property is just over 2 acres. That perhaps maybe we could put a softball field back there. That could be something that could be used by the teams, the men's and women's softball teams that use our fields. It would definitely alleviate some of the issues that we had over, like I said, in the beginning of August. Just a thought. If not, we need to come up with something of perhaps where we can put some sort of another field. I know that there was a preliminary discussion about possibly looking at Woodlawn and going into a bigger phase project and then redesigning that altogether. So just some things that we would like council to start thinking about. It's things that we're hearing from our athletic programs, and then obviously things that we're hearing from some of our residents as well.
Okay, dumpsters?
Well, let me
Sorry.
one thing about the Collins Lane. When that was designed, it was really designed to be passive recreation only.
So that was passive on where the walking path is and everything, not looking to go into that side of, this would be behind, this would be behind the back. Where the garden is, yeah. No, we want to keep that as a passive walking path. We put a lot of renovations into it and a lot of enhancements in there with the lights and there'll be cameras and whatnot, so, and a lot of people enjoy it, so it has nothing to do with taking that. It is to look at the back of.
There's no graffiti.
For now. Good.
But there's light missing.
There's lights missing, which we now have on order.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything on athletic field? Sorry. All right, moving over to dumpsters.
So, at the site plan board, we've had an issue with a certain landlord. And it's kind of been going on for, I guess, 1.5 years at this point. The council that passed the ordinance for the dumpsters, I think that they had good intent with all of it for moving the township forward. But until it got here, I don't think they could have imagined the magnitude of issues that were going to occur with it. So at the site board, there was discussion about having the dumpsters, the township putting a dumpster terminal in behind the Acme stores back there, and maybe a few other spots. And this kind of all ties into redevelopment. Redevelopment is something that we need to start looking into, but the dumpsters themselves, I feel that the dumpsters, the intent of the ordinance was a good intent. It's very clear, but the problem with Main Street itself, the district, is that there is really no place to put them. We can't redesign the buildings at this point. We're kind of locked into a certain amount of space. And the appearance of all of it becomes an issue. So one of the ideas that was floated from Jim Fletcher, who was our planning board chairman and also on the site board, was that we do, a terminal type thing where all the businesses can use it. And then if the township chooses to, charge them for that, then that's fine. But it gives us the control to put them in there and maintain them. Instead of having, 10 dumpsters behind it, it's into one area with one location. And at this point, if we want to be business friendly, we're collecting 95% of the trash in town at this point. Just put the dumpsters in and just have them collect it. We can put a dumpster in there for recycling, and it just cuts down on a lot of the problems that we're going to run into. With the building opening up on Main Street when the when that's done. We're going to be collecting the trash from that. So it's just something that we need to talk about next month as far as ideas or what the township wants to move forward. They are going to go to the site board for asking for forgiveness for right now until we kind of look into this and figure out what we want to do. I think with looking at this and being out at the sites, I think it's going to be the best course of action. It gets the people to have the dumpster areas, and it also, is going to stop us having 10 sites behind all of it, where I think it would, long-term, would be, not very healthy looking for the township back there. We could design it, have bushes around the one side of it, and I think personally that's the way we really need to approach it at this point in time. Because there's other areas of redevelopment that we could be looking at where we also could do that for the downtown business districts, and I know that that's a little bit off. But if I could ask the township manager to put redevelopment on, for old business and just leave it on there moving forward, I think it's something that the council really needs to look into and start moving forward with. So, does anybody have any questions about the
I do. You said we're going to be collecting trash from the new RPM facility?
building on Main Street, their apartments? We're going to probably wind up eating that trash cost too. Are they going to
No,
be
they're
private?
They're
Probably,
private,
yeah.
yeah. They have the dumpster, they're
Putting
private.
out information that's in.
Yeah.
Well, their apartments, right, up there? I mean, we
they're
collect
responsible.
Fox Meadow and all.
Ours.
I mean, I'm just saying, they might wind up coming to us and saying that they want their trash collected too. I mean, we're not going to have any say about that.
And business dumpsters, the businesses should be paying for their dumpsters.
I'm not saying they're not. It was a
Not the
suggestion,
residents.
Sandy.
I'm just saying, not the residents.
I'm not saying anything is written in stone.
Right.
I'm bringing it up so we can have a discussion and talk about it.
I have a question.
Yes.
I wasn't at the site plan, so sorry, this comes off the top. Wasn't there a plan given to the business owner by the zoning board?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Last
And
year.
did-
We had nothing to do with that.
I'm just saying, so what happened at site? Did he just not want to do it?
I think there was a lot of issues. I didn't think he realized the cost. I mean, he went to the planning board and got approval for whatever plan it was. They did a resolution, and we're kind of locked into it. The only thing we told them was to go back to planning and ask, for relief. And, the dumpsters across, everywhere, it's going to be an issue for us that we're going to have to deal with. And I'm just trying to look at a solution that is going to be, fair and equitable for everybody.
I'm just trying to understand. So your
Right.
solution, who pays for that? Do the businesses still pay for something like that, or does the township take that over?
Well, if we have a general site where we put the dumpsters there, we could do the enclosure and provide the dumpsters and charge them for that.
So we would pay for the enclosure?
Initially, yes.
Doesn't make any sense.
Can I interject, if I may?
Sure.
So this is something, because I've been sitting in the meetings and everything, site plan, planning and everything, so I did some research. Currently, locally to us, the Borough of Hightstown has an ordinance like this. I reached out to my municipal manager. This is part of their ordinance. So it's just to get the conversation started, not saying that it's working or not working. I do have a conversation, or I do have an email into the clerk and the manager over there to ask how it works, but at least it breaks it down. I wanted to give you just an idea, again, like I wanted to do some research for you. They do it in it's called their Stockton Street parking lot. There are prohibited materials that can be there. The one thing that I do know, because I spoke with the former manager of Hightstown, they said they did have to increase their staff because you need people to be able to go out there, like DPW would need to keep the area clean. And then there was also the cost of like cameras and stuff. So those are some things that we just need to, but I at least wanted to give you I wanted to do a little bit of research to be able to have, the conversation. I know that Councilman Simon-Zek had asked to have it discussed, so that's what it's there. We definitely can do more. I can get some more information from Hightstown and ask them exactly how they've implemented it, what their fee schedule is. Because it does say that they have, they do.
Yeah, it says
they
fees
do
not
charge.
paid within 30 days, yes. So.
Right, so that's something, that we think of too. But I will get more information on it. I just wanted to give you something in your hands to be able to look at it, so.
Anything else on dumpsters? All right, short-term rental discussion.
Okay, so you've all been given a short-term, you've all been given the short-term rental, I don't even know where mine went. Oh, it's in front of me, sorry. The short-term, it's one of those nights. Short-term rental ordinance. The ordinance that was originally proposed has gone a complete overhaul. So the ordinance that you all had been given previously was something that was worked on. Kyle had worked on it. Our former solicitor had worked a little bit on it too. We came up with that. And just a brief synopsis about what this newer ordinance is being proposed. It would be for short-term rentals, which are residential units rented 31 days or less. So 31 days or less, that's what this short-term rental is. They would be allowed and permitted only in owner-occupied single-family homes, certain two-family dwellings, and some condo HOAs if governing documents allow. So we wouldn't be able to do that. Their HOA would have to say that it was permitted. They would be prohibited in state-regulated housing, dorms, shelters, nursing homes, and similar facilities. Permits that would be required: all short-term rentals must obtain an annual township permit, $250 fee, meet safety and code standards, and remain current on taxes and utilities. Operating rules: owners must provide insurance, emergency contact information, and comply with the noise, parking, property maintenance regulation. Amenity-only rentals: this is where we get into the swim place, your pools, a driveway, a shed. Those things that are on the outside of the home would not be permitted. That's what we would be banning. We are not banning. I know we had the residents that had come up and they were concerned that they're short-term rental. And then enforcement: we have violations could result in daily fines of anywhere from $250 to $1,500. That's actually low for what the standard is around the area. And repeated complaints could lead to permit suspension or revocation. So these regulations, they're just designed to allow short-term rental in appropriate settings, still protecting neighborhood quality of life through clear standards, inspections, and enforcement. So that's what this current ordinance that we did in draft form.
And no swim.
No swim. You
No
could not
swim,
do any sort of rental on an accessory amenity. Again, you can't rent out your driveway, you can't rent out your shed, you can't rent out your pool, can't do it. But it would put in the safeguards that we need, that's been the concern from public safety, from our first responders of, we're going to a house and we don't even know who's there. The other thing is too, the ordinance that's being proposed is, you have to give your neighbor some notification that, that you're going to have this, that this is what it's going to be. We'd want to make sure that happens. And then obviously, the turnover is what it is. So 31 days or less would be considered a short-term rental. It coincides with our regular rental registration program that we're doing now. Still have to get the inspections, still have to, give us their forms, that sort of things. And then there is the full, it's my fear itching. You're making me itch, Sandy, I'm sorry. So I don't know if everybody got a chance to read it. I know it was been circulated, for a week or so. But if it's something that you're interested in doing, as the mayor had mentioned, it can be something that is introduced tonight in title only. We can make some minor revisions if you need to, or if you like it, we introduce it the way it is, and Terry's authorized to put it out for.
Thank you for making the changes from the last one.
You're welcome.
I think this is a lot better. Thank you for going with our suggestions.
Still not enough.
What would you like to?
Can we have a starting point? I know you want a ban. Okay.
Oh, you don't want any Airbnb at all?
I'm fine with it the way it is written new. This one.
The notification is in there?
I have to put it in there. It's
Okay.
not in the one that you have in front, but it's been noted, so
Okay.
it will be put in there. As you and I had discussed, that would be a requirement. It wouldn't just be something that's in our policies and
Correct.
procedures. It would be in the ordinance that says
They would
that
have
you
to notify all the
you have to
neighbors
notify.
touching their property.
Yeah, and I think, originally we were just discussing loosely, and we had said, as long as they knock on the door, I think it needs to be in writing, and it
Certified
needs to be
letter,
part of
yes.
the application process that
Correct.
we've at least seen it.
I'm fine with this sooner rather than later. Let's introduce it.
I think we should introduce it.
Okay, do we need a motion? I'm assuming we do need a motion for that.
You will need a motion to add the introduction of the ordinance, and then you will need that's correct, right?
Correct. A motion to add it to the agenda, and then a motion on the actual.
Introduction.
Yes.
So it'll be introduced tonight.
Title only.
It would be
Title only.
introduced, yes, so it would be introduced the way that it's written with the suggestions that Councilman Zaradnik had said that we're going to put in notification to the neighboring properties there. And then it would be along with the other one. So it would be, publication date would be August 27th, hearing date on September 18th.
I'll make both those motions.
So we're
So
going
the first motion is to add it to the agenda.
amend the agenda.
Okay? I'll make
Councilman
the first
Zaradnik,
motion.
yep.
Somebody want to second
Is there a
that?
second?
Second.
And it would be
Uh,
all in
that's an
favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. No.
Okay, now we need another motion to add to approve it, I guess, right?
So this is going to be 2025
R-166.
16.
It's an
There's
ordinance.
no R, just
Oh,
a-
ordinance.
it's
Yep.
actually
It's
16.
ordinance.
2025-16,
Okay.
ordinance
Oh,
number 2025-16.
Ordinance. Resolution too.
So it's a motion to introduce, right?
Yep, so now we need a motion to approve it?
Motion to introduce.
To introduce it.
Sorry, introduce it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, now we need. roll
Andrew,
call.
second?
Yeah. Roll call, Terry.
Any comments on the motion?
Mr. Kaufman, would you like to comment?
No.
Okay, no comments.
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Kaufman?
No, there's my comment.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mr. Simonsick?
Yes.
Mr. Zaradnik?
Yes.
Mayor Talarico?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, does anybody else have anything under new business?
Yes, I do.
No business.
No, no.
No, new business.
Please, don't come in.
I was just looking through the emails, and I just came across the purchases for the capital outlays for the fire department, and I just had a question for Susan about what you don't like about the HGAC. I just trying to understand that. Could you help me understand it?
Yep, so first there is an administrative fee. We have to pay an additional $1,000 just to have them put it together. That's the first one. Second one is that historically, the HGAC is always higher than our state co-op or our other co-ops that we have. So I did the research. I did reach out to HGAC. Their price on an F-350 is $60,000. The price at Winter Ford and at Paramus Ford for an F-350 is $50,000 and $51,000 each. That's for the vehicle alone. And then I know that you do have the upfitting as well, so.
So with the if you do a prepayment, and just for the record, we've bought numerous vehicles under that.
Yes.
And if with the capital outlay money is there, if we do a prepayment on the chassis, we could get $10,000 back on that deal.
We're not permitted to do prepayments. Unfortunately, we can't do a prepayment.
Why can't we do prepayments? We've done it before in the past.
Correct. We can't do it underneath because the state of New Jersey has a they have a co-op and a state contract that is equal to what the HGAC does, so we cannot make that prepayment through HGAC.
Well, I'm going to look into that because we did a prepayment on the HGAC that we did on the other trucks, so I don't understand why the state.
I do know, we're not supposed to.
All right, well, and the other side of that coin is we have to compare apples to apples and what we're getting out of those trucks too, because those trucks are specialized trucks with skid packs in them for weight classes and other things. And, Winter Ford doesn't do that for a living. The company that we're looking at strictly does fire department trucks. It's the same with the police. The police don't have them do outfitting. They're special people that do special outfitting for the vehicles. And I just think, that we need to get on top of this and get this done. I mean, the state is saying that they're equal to it, but if we're comparing apples to apples with what they're saying that they're going to have and what they do have, I don't see that is an issue because they're not providing the same thing under that contract.
So, they're providing the same vehicle, the F-350.
We're not talking about, the vehicle is a package. The package is the back of it, the skid pack that goes in it, and the vehicle itself. And, at the end of the day, that's a big savings for us that is, that we could use as far as that goes. They're not going to be providing that skid pack. They're going to sub that out, and it's going to wind up costing more money when it's all said and done. We've been down this road many times. So, if we're comparing the apples to apples, then as far as I'm concerned, and maybe that's why we did make that prepayment on the chassis, We saved $60,000 on the purchase of that truck when we did it, and it was through HGAC. So
And
nobody
all I-
else could provide that. And if we're not going to take exceptions to those contracts, then there's no reason why we can't do it.
So all I asked was that we look at the state contract, we look at Sourcewell, we looked at ESCNJ, we looked at the Bergen County Co-op. That's all I asked. I said, let's see if we can get another price that's cheaper than what we were looking at for the HGAC through the Virginia company.
As
That's
long
all.
as it's apples to apples, that's all I'm saying.
So I'm not putting that together. I asked Chief Simonsek to do that.
All right,
So
well-
that's it. It's the same thing. That's all I asked, so that we can definitely compare. Because when I got the prices for on the F-350 that they were asking, there's a $9,000 and a $10,000 difference in the vehicle alone. Listen, it might come up that, you know, you have to have outfitted up here, and it's not cheaper. I don't know that. That's where I stay out of this. But all I requested was that please look and ask what it's going to cost if we did it through the state contract.
All right, well, hopefully he can get that done.
Did you have something else on the business?
No.
Anybody else have anything for new business?
Nope.
Okay, we need a motion to go back into close for negotiation and attorney-client privilege. Anyone?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, formal action may be taken upon the conclusion of closed session.